In this video, we are going to look at the intersection of graphs. The first question says, on the same diagram, sketch the graphs of y equals x squared times 3 minus x and y equals 1 over x. Let's start with the cubic, y equals x squared times 3 minus x. It is a negative cubic because we've got x squared times negative x. So our x cubed term is going to be negative. So it's going to come from the top left, end in the bottom right. It crosses the y-axis when x equals 0. And when x equals 0, it will be 0. So it's going to go through the origin. It crosses the x-axis when y equals 0. So what makes, if y is 0, either x squared has to be 0. So that's 0. Or 3 minus x has to be 0, and that is 3. X squared, the 0, is a repeated root, so it's going to come down, just touch at 0, go back up, and then back down through 3. Y equals 1 over x is a reciprocal graph. It's a positive. So it's in the, when x is negative, y is negative, so the bottom left. And when x is positive, y is positive, and the top right. So it makes this shape. It can never touch the x-axis or the y-axis. They're called asymptotes. So there are the graphs. Part B, state the number of real solutions to the equation. So the number of solutions to this equation will be the same as the number of times the graphs intersect. So whenever we have simultaneous equations, the solutions on a graph are where they intersect. So we've got 2 intersections, 1, 2, so there'll be 2 solutions. One for you to try. So pause the video and give it a go. So on the same diagram, sketch the graphs of y equals x squared and y equals 2 minus x times x plus 2 squared. So y equals x squared first, goes through 0, 0, and it makes that kind of shape, a U shape. Not the best drawing. For the cubic, we've got when x is 0, what's y going to be? So when x is 0, we've got 2 times 2 squared. That'll be an 8. So it's going to cross the y-axis at 8. And when y is 0, x can be 2 or negative 2. So let's have 2. So that's 8. 2 will be 2 4, so about halfway, half of that height. So let's say that's 2. That's negative 2. And the negative 2 is the repeated root, because that's the one that's squared. And it's a negative shape. Negative x times x times x, negative x cubed. So it's coming down. The cubic will be steeper than the quadratic, because it's going to be x cubed, not x squared. So it's going to come down, go back up to the 8, back down again through the 2, and then get steeper. So state the number of real solutions to the equation. We've got 1, 2, 3. Another question, on the same diagram, sketch the graphs of y equals x squared plus 3x minus 10, so a quadratic, and y equals 2x plus 2, a linear, straight line graph. So crosses y when x is 0, so that'd be at negative 10 for the quadratic. And crosses x when y equals 0, so we can factorize it So it's going to be x plus 5, x minus 2. So it's crossing at 2 and negative 5. So we've got quadratic shape. So coming down, the minimum point is going to be halfway between 2 and negative 5. So it's further over than the negative 10. And y equals 2x plus 2. It's got a y-intercept of 2 and a gradient of 2. So for every one it goes across, it goes up 2. That's a straight line like this. So again, the quadratic's going to be steeper than the straight line. So eventually these two lines are going to cross again. So the one with the higher power is going to end up being steeper than the one with the lower power. So we would get two intersections between these. It says find the coordinates of the points of intersection. So the coordinates of the points of intersection, that means solve the simultaneous equations. So they're both y equals at the moment. So we can make them equal to each other. So we've got x squared plus 3x minus 10 equals 2x plus 2. Take 2x away from both sides and take 2 away from both sides. So 3x take away 2x is just x. Negative 10 take away 2 is negative 12. And this factorizes. It's 3 times 4. So plus 4 and take away 3. They add to make 1 and they multiply to make negative 12. So x can be negative 4 or x can be 3. And we need to substitute them in to find the y coordinates. So we can use the linear one, y equals 2x plus 2. So 2 negative 4s are negative 8, plus 2 is negative 6. 2 3s are 6, plus 2 is 8. So the intersections are at negative 4, negative 6, and at 3, 8. One for you to try. Pause the video, give it a go. On the same diagram, sketch the graphs of y equals x squared minus 2x plus 1 and y equals x minus 1. So we've got a quadratic and a straight line graph. So for the quadratic, crosses y when x equals 0. When x equals 0, we get 1. So it's crossing the y-axis at 1. And crosses x when y equals 0. So let's factorize this. It's going to have to be x minus 1 times x minus 1. So it's got a repeated root. It's x minus 1 squared. Repeated root at 1. So we've got a quadratic. So it touches 1, but then goes back up. Y equals x minus 1. It's got a y-intercept at negative 1 and a gradient of 1. So for every one it goes across, it goes up 1. So it's actually going to intersect right there. Going to intersect at 1, 0. And it's going to intersect again. So it's got 1, 2 intersections. Find the coordinates of the points of intersection. So to find the points of intersection, solve the simultaneous equations. They're both y equals, so we can make them equal to each other. X squared minus 2x plus 1 equals x minus 1. Take away x from both sides. Add 1 to both sides. And then factorize, it's going to be 2 and 1, negative 1 and negative 2. So x can be 1 or x can be 2. Y equals x minus 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. So we've got 1, 0 and 2, 1.